Then.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, you getting in?
Yeah, I just finished the meeting. I'm coming right now.
All right. See you in a few. Okay. Ready when you are.
Well, I guess let's start and then we'll do the 2 minute break, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Going to go live. Counting down from five, stopping at three. Live in five, four, three.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's Monday. Yay! For those of you in Philadelphia, yes, the Sixers play tonight without Joel Embiid, but I think we got enough talent to win even without Joel Embiid. And of course, it's Monday, Mental Health Monday, with none other than friend to the show, the right doctor, Doctor Jean Wright. And we're going to be talking about some real serious issues. Now, I'm going to break protocol. You're going to see a little number scrolling in. So if this issue is getting to you, and my dad said, listen, son, you throw a rock in a crowd, whoever screams, that's who it hits. So if this rock hits you, you want to call in, call in. Okay. Now, I'll be right back with Dr. Wright in just 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Okay, we're on break.
Doctor, good to see you.
Hey, good to be seen.
All right. How's it going?
It's going good. Going
Love
good.
your California backyard.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought I'd switch it up a little bit.
Just a little bit. Listen, I want to hang out poolside over to your left.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd
I'll
be
bring the
good.
cigars.
That'd be great. I look forward to it.
All right. Well, I just messed up on my Cuban connection.
Uh-oh. How'd you do that?
No, right? You think you get somebody who can give you certified Cuban cigars that they could try to stay out of prison.
Oh, well, yeah. You would hope.
No, it wasn't for his actual transactions of business. It's because his girlfriend decided to, show her Indian heritage. She's from the Slapaho tribe, and she caught him cheating.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
So, you want to be a hoe?
1 minute warning.
Yes. So, what's the topic?
Whatever you suggest,
Okay.
You know me, I come in fresh off the burner of working all day. So
what's pressing on your heart?
I don't know, man. I think, when you think about the challenges that we're dealing with right now, I know last week we talked about young people, we talked about seniors.
30 seconds.
But I think today, leading into May, this is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
So it's the perfect time to launch maybe 4 shows on mental health, starting with today. So Today we can start with the fact that it is Mental Health Month, and we can talk about that and what comes from that. And then we can kind of tease for the next 3 shows in May, or next 4 in May, depending on if you take off for Memorial Day or whatever.
Okay. Well, of course I take off for Memorial Day. That's my anniversary.
Uh-oh.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All
right. Going to count you down from 5, stopping at 3. Live in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome back to What You Gotta Say. For those of you on Roku and YouTube, you probably get a good earful of what happens during the break. For those of you on Comcast, you might want to switch to Roku and YouTube. So it's Mental Health Mondays with none other than friend to the show, the right doctor, Dr. Jean Wright. How are you, doctor?
I'm doing well, sir. Glad to be with you every week. I look forward to it.
Oh, are you kidding? It's probably the best part of my day. I gotta tell you, I've been, consciously putting in that 45 minutes a day just for me. Whatever I want to do. It's all about me. No phone calls, which my wife hates. No text message. This is all about me. I tell you, man, my weeks have been going with so much joy. Just, just 45 minutes of the day.
Yes. So it sounds like you're looking forward to spending some time with yourself, unencumbered.
And incredible how much self-love is just not selfish. It's more like self-care.
Yeah. And it's good to understand that when we treat ourselves well, then not only do we expect that treatment from others, but we also tend to treat others better. And so it's
Right.
just like when people talk about forgiveness of others or loving others or caring for others. All of those are really great qualities, but they are almost virtually impossible if it doesn't start with at home, loving yourself, caring for yourself, respecting yourself. Those qualities, when internalized, allow you to feel a real confidence about yourself, not a fake confidence, not a bravado, not an arrogance, but a genuine love and respect for self. And then that will propel you to actively and intentionally seek self-care, not just self-aggrandizement. So you can always weigh the different ways of looking at self and caring for self. And there's always temperance and there's always a overdone or overcompensation. So what we're really talking about is even in self-care, even in putting oneself in a position to be healthy so that others can benefit from your energy, from your health, you still have to be balanced about it, right? You know, and so your 45 minutes a day, man, I love that. That's a good start. I have an hour marked out each day.
Ooh, a whole
Yeah,
hour. I
a
wouldn't know
whole
what to do with
hour.
myself with that extra 15
60
minutes.
minutes. Well, and it's interesting. I put it right at the lunch hour just in case I have time to eat. However, I often find myself just going outside for a walk, you know, especially if I'm in my center city office, then it's, you know, just walking around. There's something about being in a city I love. I mean, I'm a country boy. I was raised in the country, in the rural areas of Ohio, but I've done most of my adult living in cities. And so there's a certain comfort with walking between the buildings and then, you know, after work, maybe going down to Love Park, you know, and walking around, you know, seeing the different sites. You know, you never know what's going to be happening in Center City. You know, you can walk down on JFK, or you can do Ben Franklin, and you're going to run into people walking their dog and playing with the kids and going to the museums. I'm telling you, Vince, it's the simple things like a walk that really allow joy to really, I think, be consistent, manifest in your heart. So I love your 45 minutes. Step it up, add another 15.
Add another 15. You know, I'm really understanding and loving the simple fact that I don't have to feel guilty about being my own best friend.
Right, right. And I think that's a good way of looking at it, because in your listeners and your viewers, the more they get to know me and the more we get to hang out together on the show, the more they'll realize that I'm a man of simplicity. Those simple statements that some people see as cliches are really words to live by in life. You know, it's not just letting them out your mouth, but yes, you start with that, because when we speak it into existence, then we now have an obligation to act on it. And that's why people make lists. That's why people say things out loud instead of just whispering it to yourself in your own mind. When you put it into the universe, Vince, now you got to step up. So whether it's a to-do list or something that you wrote down as these are my goals or these are my objectives. And I used to do that all the time, man, when I was in college and graduate school, and still do that to this day, believe it or not. I make lists, and then that holds me, I'm able to hold myself accountable. And it's not just a to-do list like go pick up this from the grocery store, or go fix that, or make that phone call. I'm on my list. And that's the thing. So I'm not just on my calendar, I'm also on my to-do list.
Right.
So it makes it real intentional, Vince, when you do it like that.
Oh, definitely. Because my to-do list has to do with everything but me. So now that I'm on my list, I'm feeling really good about that.
And you know what else, Vince? I don't care what number I am on the list.
As long as you're on the list,
as long as I'm on the list.
I'm on the list.
I may be 2, I may be 7, but I'm on the list.
I'm on the list. Okay. So we're coming into May, Mental Health Monday.
Yeah.
How did Mental Health May, Mental Health Month of May?
Yeah, it's the Mental Health Awareness Month. And then in July, it's Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have 2 big months coming up. Obviously, this is the second day of May. So I hope your viewers and listeners tune in every Monday and every day of the week that you're on, for that matter, because we really are taking a step aside from our normal push and shove and, you know, the capitalistic mindset. We all have bills to pay. We understand. And we also have philanthropic things to do. We have humanity. But it's good to also step aside and specifically honor and be aware of particular theme months. And so May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And what we really want to do, when I say we, I mean those of us that work in this field, we want to do a couple things besides make people aware. We also want people to be empathic or empathetic, depending on how you like to look at it. Why do I say it like that? Because we really want people to understand that folks that behavioral health challenges, in this case, mental illness, substance use challenges, or co-occurring challenges where you may be dealing with some mental health challenges and some substance use challenges. That self-medication piece is what I'm talking about. That happens a lot of times because of stress. And stress can be a precursor to a lot of the challenges that we've talked about the last few months, Vince.
Doc, I grew up in an age where, if anybody had a drinking problem, all they did was took a nap. I mean, but now,
we have a little more modern medical technology nowadays. And let's be honest, man. I mean, I know every generation likes to say, oh, I had it tougher than, my parents and all the days generation. And then the other generation says, oh, no, we had it tougher than you. And everything. The bottom line is you can't compare eras for real. It's like the sports analogy. How are you going to compare people who played ball in the 60s to people who played ball in the 90s and people who played ball in 2022? At the end of the day, individual differences go across all culture and all generations. And so what we're dealing with right now, by definition, is different than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Think about it. 5 years ago, we didn't have a pandemic. So every generation rightfully feels like they had some challenges and went through some things. But I don't think it's necessary to keep score and say my generation had it worse than your generation or whatever. What we really need to focus on is we need to destigmatize. We need to reduce the stigma that mental illness has still in our country. And so that's what Mental Health Awareness Month also is here to do, is to reduce the stigma and to increase inclusion of individuals who have behavioral health challenges.
Well, let's see, reduce the stigma.
Yes.
So it's okay now to be crazy.
Well, that's a civilian term, as you know, Vince. That's not a term that I would use.
No, not you. But
no.
let's say, I've got some Yahoo beer drinking Bubba who's watching the show right now who says, so doctor, you telling me it's okay to be crazy?
I'm telling you, Bubba, that it's okay to not be okay. And I'm telling you that if we didn't learn nothing else the last 24 months, we learned that none of us are in a position to judge another. Our humanity has suffered because we're keeping score on each other. We're having a contest, and guess what? Humanity is losing. And so what we need to recognize is that what is stressful for me may not be stressful for you. But that doesn't mean I can't try to give you some understanding. It doesn't mean that the challenges that I'm experiencing may be changing your world. And you're like, well, doc, that's small compared to what I'm dealing with. Again, we're not keeping score. It's okay to not be okay, whatever that means for you.
Okay, so there are different levels of stress, and
Yes.
one person's stress is not the same as the other, but still has the same level of impact.
Yes, because of the individual differences. Stress is stress, right? So for a 16-year-old who's trying to pass that driver's test, that's a whole lot of stress that you and I probably don't think about much anymore.
No, because we've already been driving for a really long time.
But every now and then we're behind the wheel and we feel some stress because some unusual situation or circumstance has occurred, even with all of our years of driving experience. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, usually because some 16-year-old who's just learned how to drive didn't cut in front of me and ruined my expensive vehicle.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But the point being made is, but also that 6-year-old who's lost their binky, that's a different level of stress.
I know.
15-year-old, 16-year-old can't relate to. So, and then you got the elderly, right? That elderly person who can't find their glasses, stressful, but maybe on a scale of comparison to others, not a big deal. Well, it depends on who you are and what your experience is. And so when we're talking about reducing stigma, I'm not even talking about, it's okay to be that C word that you use. I'm saying that we don't always understand what people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
We make judgments sitting in a seat, what we used to call Monday morning quarterback, which I think is appropriate for this show since this is Mental Health Mondays.
Monday,
We all
yeah.
know, for those people who are not involved in sports, the Monday morning quarterback is that conversation that you have after the fact when you got all the information and now you criticize what happened on Sunday.
Oh yeah, because you're the big man at the water cooler. See,
Right. Right.
What I would have done was I would have took Joel out once we got 10 points over, and he wouldn't be injured. He'd be playing right now. Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of undefeated non-athletes sitting on a bar stool. Okay. So the bottom line is,
yes,
right?
That's right. This game was so stressful. I'd have went up to 3 cases a game now.
Hey,
3 cases of beer.
Right. And we got a whole lot of criticism for the actual athletes on the field. And so it's the same way in life, man. Believe it or not, that mentality of sitting
that's the same mentality of people who say that, y'all kids got it easier than we did.
Yeah. It's like we sit back on our perch and judge others and as how their life and how they're living their life and the decisions they made. And it doesn't mean we're going to always agree on what people's decisions are, but it means we have to take in consideration. And I do this for a living, but it's because I was chosen for this living, right? I'm working in my chosen field because I was chosen for this field. And so I automatically think about what is it that people are going through? It's an automatic thought for me, Vince. And so what I try to do when I talk to others who don't automatically think like that is to take a step back. Step back from your own view, right? Right? Take the blinders down so you can see and look around. And you may find that you have more in common with folks that you're criticizing than those that you didn't.
No.
We don't know what people are going through. But
So
that's why 24 months kind of even the playing field just from an experience. Didn't matter how much money you had. We talked about the boat and the storm. The common denominator was everybody was isolated. Everybody had to pull back. Even if you had means and resources beyond anybody else's belief, you still had to shut some things down, right? So even the privileged had to do a double take on the last 24 months and go, whoa, what is this? My businesses, my travel, even though they may have had things in a better financial situation than some others and could afford to lose $1 or $2. It was still stressful for them. Right. And so even as a person who is not a millionaire, I can relate to a millionaire who says, wow, I lost millions. Right. And the person who's lost thousands and the person who's lost hundreds, it's all relative because a loss is a loss depending on the life you're living. And so what I've been trying to encourage folks is let's be less judgmental and let's be more human and just say, hey, you know what? Our experiences don't have to be exactly the same for me to understand that you've been through something. For me to understand that, we are stronger together than we are sitting on a perch pointing a finger at each other. That's really what I'm talking about. So Mental Health Monday, fittingly during Mental Health Awareness Month is about recognizing that it's okay to not be okay, but also recognizing that there are resources to support you when you're not feeling okay. You don't just stop at it's okay to not be okay. You got to take the next step, which is, hey, let me take advantage of some resources that are available to me as well. And then you got to actually do it.
Okay, and we're going to come back from break and we're going to talk about some of those resources. But, this conversation reminds me of the lyrics of one of my favorite songs. We're never going to survive unless we're a little crazy. So I'm Vincent Squire, Mental Health Monday with the right doctor, Doctor Jean Wright. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Hey, we're on break.
Yes, sir.
Hey, bring us in with that song.
Okay, what time is the awards?
6 p.m.
Okay.
How much time you got with us, doctor?
I got 30 minutes. I got my son is going to an awards. He's getting awards in National Honor Society, and it's
all right. Congratulations. My daughter got the National Honor Society award.
So I'm going to can I give you 10 more minutes?
Perfect.
All right. And then I'm going to get dressed and go sit in the auditorium and smile like a proud dad.
There you go. That's what it's all about, brother.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, do I have a minute? I'll go throw something on now. That way I can do the 10 minutes and I can walk out the door.
Chaz, can you make that happen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'll be right back.
All right. I can't remember the name of that freaking seal.
Gotcha. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to play it because of the YouTube.
Oh, fudge. Why don't you get Spotify?
Regardless of what
I know,
outlet
you
we
still
play
have
it
to
on,
actually buy the rights after 32
Gotcha,
seconds.
yeah.
32 seconds. So 29 seconds, shut it off.
We could. But I don't believe it works like that. It's an algorithm.
Yeah, and once they pick up the algorithm, it is done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe the amount of time matters, but I can find it and play it if you'd like.
So Chaz, here's my dumb thing for Sunday. Now,
sure.
I am doing the church's audiovisual ministry. Streaming, Zoom, everything. So we went through the painstaking method of converting Zoom into something that Zoom wasn't designed for. Just delivering an excellent service. We've got 4 cameras everywhere, back camera, front camera, side camera, Zoom camera, we're hitting angles. So we're giving people who are at home the whole church experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I come in, I start my checks, setups, everything, running through, check. We start service and I leave my phone on, the ringer on. And the ringer, my phone is connected to the Bluetooth where I run, all the gospels during the intro before the church service starts, kind of getting people in the worship mood. And I was running like the 5 blind boys out of Alabama. So service starts. Turn off the Bluetooth. Service starts. Everything's going on. I've got the graphics going on with the screens, the litany, the Decalogue. I'm really in the zone here.
Yeah.
We get to the prayer. And somebody calls my phone, which connects to the Bluetooth, which turns on something else. And during the middle of the prayer, you hear, "Thank you, Lord." Oh, man. I'm having one of those. Oh, Lord, did I leave my phone?
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. So, just when I thought I lived it down, I get home, and at the most quiet and solemn time of relaxation and reflection of my week, my wife goes, "So, what's with you playing rap during the prayer?" Oh, man. Oh, God. One of those production faux pas that, I'll probably never live down in my church ever again. So, how was your weekend?
Not too bad. I did put a list together of some stuff and send it over to your email. For
Sandy?
You wanted some stuff for Sandy, yeah.
Okay, great. Later on, we will work on, if you give me a call tonight, because I'm going to be watching the Sixers game, let's work on the syndication video or promo, and let's work on the AME Praise promo or commercial.
Okay, sure.
All right. Oh, that didn't take long. Look at him. He just jumped into his Billy D. Williams look. Look. Just hold your arm out.
You guys ready to come back?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, going to count you down from 5, stopping at 3, live in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, and welcome back. And it's Mental Health Monday with the right doctor. Now, Doc, we were talking about some actual issues dealing with mental health. What are some of the biggest misconceptions?
I think some of the biggest misconceptions are that mental illness is some crazed person out there, out of control, walking the streets, you know. And what people don't realize is that 40 million people have depression in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
right? Upwards more than that have anxiety challenges. Those also are considered mental illness.
But that's just 40 million people who are brave enough to be diagnosed.
And brave enough to, yes. And so the point being, but we go to work every day and go to school every day. We go to church every day, masjid, synagogue all the time. We're always interacting with people that probably have experienced or have a diagnosis of mental illness. And yet the stereotype is the one that we see out that may be homeless on the street, the person we may see directing traffic or wearing, layers and layers of clothing in a 90-degree, heat day, or some other stereotype of someone that we get in our mind, we picture in our mind, someone who doesn't look like us or anyone we know. And we say, oh, that must be the person with mental illness, as opposed to the reality that it's everyday people like you and me. It's your neighbor, it's family members, your own children sometimes. So that's the thing that the myth is that people think it's much more of a exaggeration
It
than the
can't
reality.
be. Every 3 families in America has a Bruno. Somebody that did something, said something, become something that we don't talk about.
Yeah. But most people don't focus in on their family. They think that their situation is unique. And that's why people oftentimes don't share with anyone what's going on in their house or what they're experiencing, because they think that they're the only one, especially children. I'm the only
40
one
million
experiencing.
people, and you feel like you're the only one.
I'm telling you, Vince, that's why so much people are so hidden and reserved about it, because there's some shame, there's some guilt. There's a lot of things that go into.
Oh, there's some religious issues too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And so, there are certain things that people don't mind talking about, certain health issues people don't mind talking about, diabetes, heart disease, you could probably name several more. But
Up
people,
into the 17th century, it was considered to be demon possessed.
yeah, but nowadays we want to make sure that people also understand that mental illness is also a medical condition.
There's actually alcoholism, drug abuse.
Sure.
Let's see, you say heart, diabetes. There's and there is links to cancer and things like glaucoma, which is caused by stress and mental health.
Yeah. And so when you think about all the different things that can impact our health, we shouldn't have a section of things that says, oh, that's taboo. We can't talk about that. We can't address that. And so my last statement as I wind up with you, Vince, because I got your audience knows I have to exit. But
by the way, big shout out to your son. Before you go,
thank you.
Can you tell everybody where is he going? What are you going to do?
I'm going to my son is high school is having an honor ceremony. He's being honored for his academic prowess, and he's a National Honor Society inductee, and he's going to be receiving some awards along with some of his classmates. And so I'm going to be a proud papa sitting in the audience.
Yes, son. Yes, that's my boy.
So thank you so much, and I'll be back with you all next Monday. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Chaz. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Dr. Wright, thank you for Mental Health Monday. That was Dr. Wright, and you can see Dr. Wright every Monday on this program, and starting soon, The Right Doctor with Doctor Jean Wright. God bless you, doctor. And we'll be right back in just 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Okay, we're on commercial.
All right. All right, where do we go from here, Chaz?
Totally up to you. Totally up to you. Would you want to riff for a little bit and then we can cut it early, or I don't know what you I don't know how you're feeling today. We're still
Okay.
live for everybody else at home. Just be aware.
Everybody else at home, you want to call in? Anybody want to call in? Talk about their Uncle Bruno that they got. Then what was that movie? With the sisters. Oh, Soul Food. Remember how they had the crazy uncle with the TV that never turned on? Yeah, come on. We all got that uncle. Okay. Good. You want to call in and talk about mental health? Let's do it. But let's riff. All right. How much time I got, Chaz?
About 1:20.
Can you make it 2?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
take your time. We'll come back when you're ready.
Great. All right, Chaz. How much time we got left?
About 10 seconds. So I'll count you
Great.
down from 5, going live, stopping at 3, starting in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, welcome back. Now, as Dr. Wright so eloquently put, there are a lot of stigmatisms involved with mental health. Guilt, shame, anxiety of the guilt and shame, all adds to it. Let's look at a few things. COVID did not increase. What COVID did was exploit. Whatever issues that you have swept under the rug, COVID didn't increase it in our country. What COVID did was exploit it. One of the biggest things was mental health. You can see mental health because during COVID, they shut down everything but the liquor stores. Well, yeah, not to mention, drug dealers are, now driving Bentleys. During COVID, sales are up at an all-time high. Self-medication is what increased. Also, what you saw a spike in was domestic violence and suicide, teen suicide, and the newest spike, now reaching in really high level, suicides of African Americans. Yes, everyone was affected by COVID. And as Dr. Wright said, what affects you may look different to me than what affects me. but yet everybody has been showing signs of that level of stress. Let's look at it. Every city is having drive-by shootings, crazy murders, shooting of relatives. I mean, actually, shootings. In my day, if you had a family dispute, you just didn't invite them to the picnic on 4th of July. Now we've got family disputes and people shoot each other. When I grew up in Philadelphia, you basically just looked and addressed your differences and you agreed to disagree, or you agreed on terms of how you can coexist until you could come to terms to exist together. There was no, shooting of your neighbor. What have we gotten into where we're so focused on our self stressors that we're not taking, as Dr. Wright said, empathy? Or for those who haven't matriculated, empathy is actually putting yourself in another person's shoes. There's an old cliche that says that you can't judge a man until you walk the mile in his moccasins. So that's putting yourself in someone else's shoes and walking their walk and experiencing what they're experiencing before you can actually judge their movements and their actions. Where we come to where we can't empathize, we can't feel. We're just so worried about our troubled feelings that we forget that other people have feelings too, or the feelings of those because somebody didn't turn on their turn signal and you had to put your step on your brake, which made you 12 seconds late for your appointment. That you've gotten so mad that you had to exhibit road rage and start shooting at somebody. Where's the empathy? Where's the feeling for your brother who went through COVID with you? Same time, different location. And you never even called to see if he's all right. Where's your empathy for your children, where they spent 18 months isolated in a room with a computer? That was their social understanding and development and growth. And then you want to know why they're getting so angry and getting boisterous. No empathy. There have been a great deal of people affected, but we've forgotten to thank and have empathy for those who really brought us through this. Our first responders, our doctors. Hey, some of our politicians did a bang up job. Most important, our faith leaders, our family members, our fathers, our mothers, and our brothers, who always gave us a word of encouragement and hope and understanding, who meticulously walked through all the disinformation and misinformation to find the right information to lead and to govern. Those people who diligently worked and walked in a way that was exemplary and complementary to the Lord their God. Those people who have dealt with the stressors just as you, but yet carried a level of leadership. Yet, I don't think anybody said thank you to them. Well, I know my pastor watches the show and a few of my church members. So, Reverend Dr. Stanley Hurst Sr., and let's not forget his right hand, Sister Sharon Yvette Hurst. Thank you. Oh, by the way, my wife, thank you. My daughter, who put up with my jokes for 18 months. Thank you. My family, that we've had Zoom meetings, Zoom Mother's Day, Zoom Father's Day, Zoom birthday, Zoom 4th of July, and Zoom Comedy Hour. Thank you. My brothers from the church who called to check in on me. I want to say thank you. My sisters in the church who called to check on my wife. I want to say thank you. And for those who thought that my wife would have killed me by the last 3 months, sorry, but thank you too. So, as Jesus said, in terms of empathy, be kind to one another, be good to one another, is by this, that people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another as I have for you. In my church, when we say the litany, thou shalt love the Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. And the second is thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. He said, on these two hang all of the law and the prophets. We have to get back to empathy, to love, instead of rage, confusion, and hate. As one of the great prophets said, that darkness can't defeat darkness, but it's the light that defeats darkness. When we show love, we show light, and we defeat the darkness. Until then, tomorrow we'll have the three wise ones. So let's get into a spiritual debate about that. So, on behalf of my co host today, Dr. Wright, congratulations with your son, and my production team, Chaz. I'm Vincent Squire. God's will. I'll be back to see you tomorrow. Peace.
Okay, we're out.
Great. Oh, man, something has been flying. I don't know what it was that I hit, but it flew like right on my nose. I don't know if you saw it. It's been itching me like